Past and Future. Chapter 5. No way! Oh, they're getting married. It's actually happening. Chapter 5? Not Chapter 6. Chapter 5. Oh, please let it be a beautiful wedding CG. We are here on this day to unite two kindred souls. The minister's words ring loud and clear in the calm silence. His voice is an anchor, rooting me in this surreal moment I have dreamed of for months. I wonder, is Waltz as nervous as I am? The minister claps his book shut. Before I proclaim you joined by marriage, thou must seal this pact with a kiss. I step toward the altar and hold out my hands. Waltz reaches for mine at the same time. Wow. That is so beautiful. It's the opening with the purple vine thingies. Oh, I can finally get a good look at your wedding dress, too. Oh. Oh, so pretty. And look at him! Oh, I could look at this for hours. I need to move on. I'm gonna be here forever. Time seems to stop when I am standing before him. I forget entirely about the small audience we have and focus entirely on Waltz. I am Lucette in this moment. His smile is so bright it makes my heart hitch.
Hey, little star.
Hello, Waltz. It's hard to believe we're finally here.
You think so? I knew it was only a matter of time. The past, the present, everything has led to this moment. And this is only the beginning.
I divert my gaze briefly, embarrassed. You really think I would be a good mother?
You will be a good mother. You excel at everything you do.
I feel I am only able to do my best because you are by my side.
Likewise, little star.
I love you, Waltz.
I love you too, Lucette.
We seal our declaration with a kiss. Would have liked to have seen that, but it's fine. We still had that great kiss from last time, and this is still beautiful. I barely hear the roaring applause of the audience. In this moment, all I hear is Waltz's promise echoing in my heart. I love you. This, I know, is the truest love I will ever feel. I hold on to this moment for as long as I can, knowing I will remember it for the rest of my life. I think we got a contender for best CG. I mean, wow. That was so beautiful. My mind is fuzzy when I wake the next day. Last night's celebration was exhausting. Wonderful, but physically draining. The last thing I remember is nearly falling asleep in the garden, and Waltz carrying me to bed before anyone noticed. Waltz? I turn to see him lying beside me, twirling a strand of my hair around his finger.
Good morning, little star.
How long have you been up?
Just a few minutes.
He smiles.
You were talking in your sleep.
And you didn't bother to wake me up?
I would have, but it sounded like you were having such an interesting conversation with Dream Me.
Dream... you? I bolt out of bed, horrified. You're teasing me. Waltz props himself up on his elbow and arches an eyebrow.
Am I?
If you will not tell me what I said, then I will assume you are lying.
Well, it sounded like the two of us were in the bath, and you...
Never mind. I've decided I'm not interested. Waltz laughs when I throw a pillow at him.
What a wonderful way to start our married life.
Yes. How very regal of us, the king and queen of Angielle, to be throwing pillows at each other in the morning. Waltz looks at me wide-eyed. I only realize why belatedly. What? You married a queen. It's only a matter of time until your crowning ceremony. You have been studying for this for months, remember? I thought he was just like, step back. Waltz falls back on the bed, arm over his eyes. He laughs a little breathlessly.
Me, the king of Angielle. Who would have ever thought?
I think you will look excellent in a crown. I settle myself on the edge of the bed. Waltz sits up and runs a hand through his hair.
You weren't the only one having dreams last night.
Oh? What were you dreaming of?
The past.
He looks at me questioningly, as if asking for permission to speak. Oh, great sad music. Lovely. I fold my hands on my lap and look at him expectantly.
It was a dream, but it was also a memory. Myth was in it.
Go on.
When we were both taken on as apprentices to Hildir, she used to pit us against each other. It was how she trained us.
Myth is the witch I used to know as Mithros. He was one of my father's closest advisors, and a traitor. I do not remember him growing up. Waltz tells me that is because Mother kept Myth close. Few knew of his existence because he was kept close within the palace walls. Man, he had even less outside influence than Waltz did. My boy. Sometimes I cannot help but wonder what would have happened if I had been able to befriend him. Would I have been able to save him from Mother? I wonder...
In the dream, memory, I burned Myth's hand.
Waltz pinches the bridge of his nose.
I remember I felt terrible about it. Witches can't heal, but I tried to convince him to let me help him treat the wound. He refused. And then Hildir came in and...
She told him he deserved it, didn't she? Waltz nods.
She said it was his punishment for being weak. Worse, she praised me for landing a hit on him.
Mother used to say similar things to me. She believed only the strong had the right to survive.
I felt awful about it. That night I came to your room. It was all I could do to keep from crying. I don't think you noticed, but you were awfully perceptive. You noticed how quiet I was. And then you grabbed my hands and asked me if I wanted to help you make a puppet.
You remembered that in a dream?
I'm not surprised. That moment was very important to me, you know. It was the first time I felt like you'd let me into your heart.
I slide close enough to lean into him. When was it that you started letting me into your heart? Waltz wraps an arm around my shoulders and kisses the top of my head.
You wiggled your way into my heart the first time I met you. You were just that bright, little star.
He sighs softly into my hair.
I can't help but think about my students when I think of Myth. He was a great student with so much potential, but Hildir was ruthless. She didn't know how to teach empathy. I wish I could have saved him from himself before he became so corrupted.
I am so happy my boy's being talked about because he was good. He used to be good. He could have been good if he hadn't been corrupted. Ah, my boy. So why doesn't he have a proper burial? Gosh darn it. I will die on this hill. I will die on top of the pillar on this hilltop. Oh. I wish we had had a flashback CG, though, of Little Waltz and Little Myth. That would have been so cute. I mean, I don't know if there was anything that could have been done. Probably not. But it's in the past. There's no point dwelling on what could have, what may have happened. All you can do is teach your students empathy so that the mistakes of the past are not repeated. You can make a difference now.
I wish Myth was still alive so that was possible.
You wish he was alive, eh? I shake my head. It's too late for Myth, but you can make sure that another Myth is not created. You said it yourself. You think about Myth every time you teach. You teach because you want those witches to have the education you both never did, right? Why are you looking at me like that? Waltz smiles.
You know me better than I know myself, Lucette. You're right, as always. I can't do anything to change the past, but I can make sure my students have a proper education.
There you go.
And that they learn to love magic as it should be loved, as means to protect and assist others, not to destroy things.
If anyone can teach them that, it's you, Waltz. I have faith that your future, our future, will be a bright one. That music changed, though.
Especially now that we're married.
Waltz grins when I blush. I thought it never mattered to you that we weren't married.
It didn't. But now that we are, I fully intend on gushing about you as my wife to everyone I know.
I elbow him in the side. Please don't. I look up, my gaze snagging on the clock. We are extremely late for breakfast. Why did none of the servants call for me?
Well, we had a big day yesterday and have the anniversary today. Everyone probably thought it would be good to let you rest while you could.
Oh, right. The anniversary. I eye him suspiciously. I hope you did not plan any grand event for today.
Nothing like that, but I'm still convinced you're going to love it.
Walt stands and holds out a hand.
Shall we head out?
Yes. Walt and I walk to the dining hall hand in hand. Can't believe you two are married. I'm so happy for you. When we arrive, the usual group is already there, along with our two guests. Good morning, newlyweds.
Good morning, Your Majesty.
Prince Lance looks at Waltz, a consternated look on his face. How shall I address you?
Waltz is fine. Good morning, Lord Waltz.
Always so polite. You're as stiff as always, Llama.
And you are far too colloquial, Karma.
I take my seat at the table and glance at Ophelia, who sits in front of me.
Congratulations again, you two. You were quite the handsome couple yesterday.
I must agree. Yes, you look stunning, Lucette.
I'm glad the ceremony wasn't rushed.
Rushed?
Well, you planned all this mere days before the ceremony was set to happen. You barely had time for a rehearsal.
Claude abruptly looks up. About that, I have a complaint.
Karma, please.
Quiet, Llama. He furrows his eyebrows at me. Were you not going to invite us to your wedding, darling? You had no idea we'd be in Angielle when you made that proposal, after all. No, I did not. Claude deflates. Look, man, you were the only other person to marry her. Take some solace in that. Truly, I am wounded. I shake my head. This was a ceremony for the two of us. It's true I wanted friends there if they could make it, but the grand ceremony with the nobles in attendance will probably happen next month. Be that as it may, I am glad you and Lance were there yesterday, Claude. Claude reflects my smile back at me. Me too, Your Majesty. Please expect an extravagant gift from Brigantia on the day of your second ceremony.
Please also consider this a warning, Your Majesty. My brother's gifts are known to be overwhelming.
This does not surprise me in the slightest.
Are you going to eat? Your breakfast is getting cold, and we're waiting for you to finish before we drink tea.
Dang, boy wants his tea. Waltz lifts his glass with a bright smile.
To late morning breakfast with friends.
It is ridiculous, and yet everyone raises a glass to toast him. Even Seppi.
To the Queen and future King of Angielle!
May your future always be bright.
As Waltz and I turn to our food, the conversation everyone had been having around the table before Waltz and I returned resumes.
There's really no reason for you to want to host me.
Of course there is. We enjoy having guests.
It's true. We love having Princess Emmeline. You should come with her this time.
What are you all talking about?
Before you arrived, I invited Rod to stay in Brigantia. We host Princess Emmeline all the time, after all. I think Rod would like it there as well.
Brigantia has a vibrant nighttime scene. There's always a lot of dancing and singing. So you're inviting me to, what, dance and sing?
Only if you want to. It will be a good time, Rod. You should come.
You're always talking about exploring new hobbies and passions. Maybe Brigantia is where you'll find them.
You would even get away from studying for a while.
Rod crosses his arms. He does hate studying.
Fine, I'll go.
It's settled then. We'll focus on arrangements after today's festivities.
The animated conversation carries into our tea time. As much as I want to stay and hear the details, I have other things I must do today before my speech. Excuse me, everyone. I have a few errands I need to run.
Are you sure you don't need any help?
I set a hand on Waltz's shoulder as I rise. No, I would much rather you enjoy yourself here. You can catch up on everything tomorrow.
If you're certain.
I lean forward and whisper. One of us, at least, should be a gracious host.
Good point. Maybe I'll try performing some magic tricks.
You are still very much a child, aren't you?
Waltz smiles sweetly at Claude.
No need to get so worked up about my magic. At ease, small one.
Hey, got him. Claude's responding glare is so immediate it makes me laugh. I shall see you all later. I finish up the last of my tea before heading to the throne room. Oh, Claude, so easily offended. I spend an hour in the throne room speaking with various witch and fairy representatives I'm interviewing for positions on my new council. I meant what I said to Delora the other day. I want to expand my council so that it includes not just human voices, but fairies and witches as well. So far, all of the applicants have been extremely qualified, which makes the selection process more difficult as I am only accepting 8 new seats. I pinch the bridge of my nose as the most recent applicant leaves the throne room.
Well, that was the last applicant.
Is there a reason you decided to interview them today before a big festival?
You've gone from being overwhelmed to suddenly doing everything at once.
I had a burst of inspiration after speaking with Cinna. I called both Delora and Cinna here today to help me speak with the candidates. Delora has been my teacher for years, and Cinna is not only the Lucis bearer, but the one who inspired this idea in the first place. It makes sense to have them both here.
Understandable.
Of course you would say that. Still, remember not to overwork yourself, Your Majesty. Do not worry. After all of this is done, Waltz and I plan on taking a much-needed vacation. Thank goodness. Go to a beach and just sleep and eat and have smooches and stuff for like a month. And that's it. That's all you do.
Speaking of Waltz, it's rare to see you conducting this sort of business without him.
Waltz has been by my side this entire time, but my duties are still my own. I thought it would be best to start this process without Waltz and catch him up on things later. I hope you aren't still trying to prove yourself a worthy Tenebrarum Bearer by taking on too much work for yourself. No, I am simply striving to be better. I will let my actions speak for themselves. Delora crosses her arms. Spoken like a true witch queen. The title startles me. Witch queen? Well, you went from ice princess to witch queen. Well, if you think about it, that's what you are, isn't it?
Never mind the fact that you're a halfling.
Details! Witch queen. Like my mother. Titles are just that. Titles. We inject new meaning into them all the time. I wonder if I could accomplish such a thing with that title. Anyway, since that was the last applicant for the day, I assume you want us to excuse ourselves so you can make preparations for your speech? The speech is in about 1 hour. I wonder if I have time to do that other thing that has been on my mind. Yes, we're done for the day. Thank you both for assisting me. It's an honor, Miss Tenebrarum Bearer. Cinna shrugs.
It's my duty to help you keep things balanced. That's the only reason I'm here.
You can admit you look up to Lucette. I think she'd appreciate hearing that from you. Aw, you're just like my little brother. Amazingly, Cinna doesn't say anything to that, which means it's true. Thank you, Cinna. I look up to you too.
Goodbye.
He's such a little cinnamon bun. Oh, I just want to pinch his cheeks. Cinna turns on his heels and walks away. Delora flashes me one last grin before trailing him out of the room. After they leave, I am alone in the room with just a handful of knights. Sitting here in this quiet, atop this throne, the weight of everything to come suddenly crashes down on my shoulders again. But I will no longer be cowed. I am looking forward to facing these challenges with Waltz. I stand and wave one of the knights over. Are Lady Jurian and Sir Garland preoccupied right now?
The commander and Sir Garland are organizing the security around town.
I wouldn't want to bother them.
Your Majesty, if I may speak freely.
Of course.
Sir Fitzgerald has been looking for you all morning. He's on break, but I think he is waiting outside to speak with you.
Perfect. I would rather do this next thing with someone who will not ask too many questions. Then I will not make him wait. Thank you for letting me know. I dismiss the knight and head for the exit. Fritzy boy, why you wanna talk to me, eh? The minute I step outside, Fritz suddenly appears before me.
Your Majesty!
Fritz bows low before me.
The promotion Jurian gave me. I had to come and thank you in person.
Aw, so it happened. Congratulations, man. Oh, right. I was wondering when Jurian would tell him about the promotion. You do not need to thank me for something you earned, Fritz.
But I do. It was your belief in me that allowed me to stay here. I will forever be grateful you gave me another chance to prove myself.
What happened 2 years ago was not your fault, Fritz. Still nothing. But, if you would like to thank me, perhaps you could do me a favor.
Anything.
Accompany me to the dungeons.
But why?
I need to visit a prisoner.
The witch you just recently tried in court. The one who was guilty.
A pang goes through my heart at his words. It is true. We managed to get the arsonist to confess. He did so without any guilt. He said he would rather rot in the dungeons than have to serve a queen he did not believe in. Yes, that witch.
May I ask why?
You shall see when we get there. I gesture for Fritz to follow after me, and the two of us make our way to the dungeons. Okay. The dungeons are cold and dreary as always. I force a neutral expression onto my face as I approach the witch's cell. I find him sitting cross-legged on the ground, staring up at the ceiling.
What do you want, soft heart?
He angles his head to look at me with disdain. Fritz, popped into existence to be like, you wanna go? I'll fight you.
You do not get to speak to Her Majesty like that.
It is okay, Fritz. I approach the bars. I did not get to bring this up in court because it had nothing to do with the proceedings, but I wanted to let you know I am adding witches to my council. The witch stares at me, baffled.
Why would you tell me this? Is this some kind of trick?
No trick, just the truth. You said I am not like my mother. You are right. My mother lied and manipulated others. She saw things in black and white, good and bad, but we are all more complicated than that. My mother only took the counsel of witches that kneeled before her. She ruled through fear. That was also wrong. So I am doing things differently, my way.
Ugh.
I thought I ought to let you know, since you were so concerned with my lack of effort. The witch leans back against the wall with a sigh.
It's no use. Humans will always be afraid of things they don't understand. They will always fear those who have more power than them. This ideal peace you speak of is impossible.
I mean, it's not going to be easy. And, I mean, that is just people in general. But doesn't mean that you shouldn't try, that the effort shouldn't be put forth. Perhaps.
Your Majesty.
There is no such thing as true peace. There will always be upheaval and dissent. Such is the nature of society. But we can incorporate structures that will help us deal with those injustices fairly. Even if an ideal is unobtainable, I do not think it is foolish to work toward it regardless. That's the key. That is the difference between my mother and I. She gave up. The only solution she was interested in was bloodshed, but violence begets more violence. I will not pit humans and witches against each other. I will never take sides. That is my duty, as both the Tenebrarum Bearer and the Queen of Angielle. The witch exhales softly. Perhaps it is a trick of the light, but he looks like he is smiling.
There is nothing more painful than putting your heart into something that will inevitably fail.
Perhaps, but I would much rather try than give up. Apparently I got affection with Waltz? Where are you?
You have more of a backbone than I thought, Your Majesty.
Your Majesty? He actually used my title.
This has been an enlightening talk. I still think it's all foolishness, but I appreciate hearing all this from your own mouth.
It is my duty as bearer to watch over the witches of this kingdom. You are included in that duty, even if you do not consider me your queen. I step away from the bars. That is all I came down here to say. Good day. I turn and walk away, Fritz trailing behind me.
Your Majesty, that was...
Foolishness, I know.
No, that was amazing. You're the most fearless person I know.
Thanks, Fritz, for being a random bystander during that. Glad you always have my back. The two of us make our way back to the above-ground corridors. Thank you for accompanying me, Fritz.
Of course. Feel free to call on me whenever you need me, Your Majesty.
I shall. And, Fritz...
Yes.
You can use my name every once in a while, you know.
Oh, Of course, Queen Lucette.
Better. Will you be at the anniversary festival today?
Yes. Lady Jurian gave me the day off. I'll be visiting the bakeries today. I hear they have a lot of special baked goods. If you happen to see a stall by the fountain with a floral top, I highly recommend their chocolate almond croissants. They're exquisite.
I never knew Fritz had a sweet tooth. And not this time he didn't. I shall do that. Thank you, Fritz.
Until next we meet, your Queen Lucette.
Better. Fritz bows before excusing himself. I head in the opposite direction, toward the front gates where I am to give my speech. Based on the reception of the audience, my speech is well received. I was all ready to give the speech. I tell the audience of the endeavors I have already discussed with Waltz. I tell them about my intention to make every voice in my kingdom heard. I promise that I will judge every crime based on the sin, not the sinner. It does not matter who the criminal is, human, witch, or fairy. All shall be judged equally. I tell them my hopes for the future, that Angielle will be a peaceful place where everyone gets along, no matter who their neighbor is. And lastly, I would like to introduce someone who I believe can expound on my efforts, though I am sure you all know who he is. Everyone, please welcome Waltz Cresswell to the stage. The audience bursts into wild applause as Waltz steps into place beside me.
Hello, everyone. It's an honor for me to be here on stage speaking with all of you. Please excuse my blunders. I'm used to being on stage as a performer. I'm still working on politics.
This prompts some chuckles from the audience. Nicely done. You're killing it, man. Waltz uses that disclaimer at the beginning of every speech, but he is just as good a speaker as he is a performer. He has always had a gift for putting others at ease.
Not a day goes by that I don't remember the Great War. It's true I served Lady Hilder then. She stole many things from me. My family, my free will, my heart. And I followed her because without those things I was lost. My whole life I have been trying to redeem myself. I will never forget the past. It's true it can't be changed, but it's only through acknowledging it that we can push forward. My goal has, and will always be, to help build a brighter future, one in which the crystalline are balanced and everyone is happy. It is an honor to make that dream a reality alongside Queen Lucette, the Tenebrarum Bearer.
Waltz's speech is well received, which is unsurprising. After introducing Cinna, he joins me at the back of the stage.
You were phenomenal as always, little star.
And you were a natural on that stage, like always.
Well, I had a good teacher.
Me?
Of course. I've watched you give speeches every month for 2 years. Don't think I haven't been taking notes.
When will you let me learn something from you?
You're welcome to come to my magic lessons, but I doubt you need them. Still, I hope you'll come visit the students more often.
I would like that. More applause follows Cinna's speech. He, like Waltz and I, speaks at length about balancing the crystallum and making things equal between the fairies, witches, and humans. At the end of the speech, all three of us come to the front of the stage to deliver our final words. This time, when the audience cheers, they throw lilies onto the stage. Their response brings a smile to my face. I remember what Cinna said about wishes and making them come true on our own. I will dedicate myself to Angielle for the rest of my days. I will make sure our future is a bright one. After the speech, the townspeople approach with their bouquets and well wishes. The air is filled with jubilant conversation as they come to offer their praise. It is more overwhelming today than any other day of the year, but with Waltz's help, the two of us managed to speak to everyone. Dang, guys, you killed it. By the time we are done, all I want is to sit on a bench and relax. But
we've got some time before the surprise I planned. Maybe we could use the free time to treat ourselves to something delicious.
I remember what Fritz said about there being a bunch of themed baked goods around town today. He mentioned some stall with almond chocolate croissants.
What are you in the mood for?
Well, if I was on Fritz's route, it would be croissants, but I'm on Waltz's route, so obviously we're getting candied apples.
How nostalgic of you.
What? They are clearly the superior treat. I can always pick up a croissant later.
Agreed.
Waltz holds out his hand. I take it and allow him to lead me toward our favorite stall. The stall owner we have been visiting for years is there and smiles at us brightly when we arrive.
Queen Lucette, Lord Waltz.
The man bows deeply.
It is, as always, an honor to serve you both. Thank you for your thoughtful speeches today. What will you two have today? The usual, please. Always a good choice.
Waltz digs into his pocket for coins for the merchant, but the man refuses to take them when he hands us our apples.
I can't take money from you, especially not today. Please, these are my treat.
Thank you.
Thank you, Your Majesty. Your patronage is the greatest honor.
Waltz and I settle on a nearby bench to eat the apples, but when I reach to take mine from him, he lifts my apple into the air away from me. What are you doing? He takes a bite from his and chews for a few moments before finally handing me my apple, a mischievous smile on his face. What are you doing? What are you doing? You're up to something.
Sorry, just wanted to make sure they weren't poisonous.
I gather electricity at my fingertips and shock him in the shoulder. Good. Waltz just laughs.
You remember what I said years ago when I first treated you to these apples?
Other than that same poison apple comment, you said you would always remember that day. Waltz nods.
I'll never forget how happy you looked that day.
You told me you were fulfilling a promise you made to me long ago.
That's right. You'd always wanted to try all the desserts around town but couldn't leave the palace.
And now, here we are. Waltz kisses the top of my head.
Right. Here we are.
After the two of us finish our dessert, Waltz stands and offers me a hand.
It's about time for your surprise, I think.
Last year, Waltz used his magic to craft archways made of lilies in the main plaza for me to walk through. I hope he did not go out of his way to do something like that this year. I am both excited and nervous.
Don't be nervous. I know you're going to love this.
He winks at me.
Would you mind closing your eyes?
What?
Please. A surprise isn't a surprise if you can see it.
He leans closer to me, close enough to whisper in my ear.
Don't worry, little star. I'll guide you.
Fine, if you insist. I trust you. I close my eyes and hold tight to Waltz's hand, letting him lead me to this surprise location.
We're almost there.
I hear jubilant chatter as we pass through lively crowds, but I cannot focus on any of their conversations. All I hear is the loud thudding of my own heartbeat. And then, I hear a door open. Waltz leads me carefully through an opening.
Open your eyes, little star.
Okay. I open my eyes to find myself in a familiar space. I recognize it immediately. My home away from home, the Marchand Tavern.
Surprise!
Well, hello everybody. All of my friends stand before me, clapping and laughing at my surprise. I am too shocked to even be embarrassed. It has been a long time, too long, since I saw all of them here together. It's true. You're gaping, Your Majesty. Her Majesty has reason to be surprised. It's been years since we were all here.
The last time we were, our lovely queen was but a princess.
And now she's the most powerful woman in all the land.
That's some impressive character development.
Thanks, Claude.
Characters, huh? You speak as if we were characters in a fairy tale. Good thing we aren't, It'd be a little disappointing if this were just a story.
It would make a good tale for a bard, though, wouldn't it? Or a visual novel, mayhap. Waltz wraps an arm around my shoulders and pulls me closer.
Surprise, Lucette.
I don't understand. What are you all doing here? We're here for you, Your Majesty. Oh my gosh. Well, that's perfect right there.
We even let the broom out of the closet for today.
Oh no. The broom hops into my arms before I can step away. Thankfully, it does not force me to clean anything. It just seems jittery with excitement. I suppose it is good to see you again, Mr. Broom. The broom hops around us all in celebration. Despite my best efforts, I cannot stop myself from laughing.
Thank the gods Lance wasn't invited.
You're just glad he's not here to steal all the attention away from you.
He does not steal the attention away from me.
You're clearly in denial, Prince.
Shush, small one.
What did you just call me? Oh, tiny lord, I wouldn't... Comment on my height one more time and I'll smash a chair over your head.
You will not! Mom's stepping in. Anise approaches and takes my hand as the banter continues. It was Waltz's suggestion. He thought you might enjoy a dinner with friends for a change of pace. Friends. The word makes my eyes fog with tears. Once upon a time, I did not have friends. Now I have many of them, and I am so incredibly grateful for all of them. I made your favorites for tonight. I hope you like them. Anise suddenly looks nervous. Your Majesty? I realize I am crying in earnest now. Waltz wipes a stray tear away.
You okay, little star?
Everything about this is perfect, Waltz.
Good. I like to think I know you pretty well.
I turn back to Anise. Please, Anise. I would love dinner. Anise claps her hands together and raises her voice loud enough for everyone to hear. Dinner time, everyone! Everything is on the house, including the hot chocolate! As everyone cheers and follows after Anise, I turn to Waltz. Thank you, Waltz, for everything. Waltz pulls me into an embrace.
No, thank you, little star.
The two of us share a quick kiss beneath the tavern lights before we follow the group into the reception area. Tonight, I forget I am a queen and the Tenebrarum Bearer. Tonight, I am just Lucette, a girl who is here at the Marchand Tavern to enjoy good food and good company.